Welcome to another episode of Purchase to Profits. I'm Seth Ferguson. Our guest today not only focuses on real estate in the southeastern United States, but has also been flying professionally for over 25 years, accumulating over 12,000 flight hours and 7 jet type ratings. He founded his company in 2016 after 14 years involvement in real estate investing and works with accredited investors and professionals who are interested in real estate investment, diversification, and financial freedom. Bill Zahller is the president of Park Capital Properties and is also the founder of the Asheville Multifamily Investor Club. Bill, welcome to Purchase to Profits. It's great to have you on the show.
Great. Thanks, Seth. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So to kick things off, do you want to tell us a little bit about your real estate goals?
Sure. Yeah, we, like I said, started Park Capital Properties a little over 2 years ago with the design and the idea to get into syndication full-time, make it a full-time career. I could also do the flying on the side at this point, but transition next 3 years, be transitioned as full-time. So some of the goals, like I said, not only a full-time transition, but this year, my business partner, Richard, and I have set a goal of, we'd like to close on one property a quarter, around 800 units total net gain for this year is where we're shooting for 2019. So we have a lot of good opportunities out there and a great team to work with us. So we're excited about it.
That's a great goal. So why did you focus on the unit count rather than a dollar value or something like that? Everybody's a little bit different.
Right. It's an easier, most of our deals are going to be around that close to the same price point, I think. So it's kind of, 6 of one, half dozen the other for us. We're not wildly all over the map, but they're all going to be in the probably $15 to $30 million range deal size.
Nice.
So it's we just one matrix to kind of keep track of it.
Yeah, and you mentioned like you're focusing right now on just one area, one MSA.
We're in Atlanta currently, but we like a couple of we spend some time in Charlotte, North Carolina, also Greenville, South Carolina. So any of those three, we're actively working with brokers and looking up deals, and any of those three will buy in. Yeah.
Gotcha. And you mentioned like your goal is to transition out of flying into the syndication full time. What kind of unit count or what kind of dollar volume do you have to hit for you to be able to do that?
That's a great question. Yeah, we've constantly go back and forth on that, trying to figure out. I would think it'd be around 2,000, 2,500 units, somewhere in that neighborhood. I think we could both do it. My business partner, Richard, also wants to kind of ease out of his job too and both do this as a full-time career. So I think we're probably looking at that. So it's probably, 18 months, 2 years away.
Yeah.
I think on our ultimate goal.
Yeah, no, that'll be exciting once you guys hit it. That's great.
Absolutely.
So do you have a couple, any rituals or habits that you do maybe daily or weekly to keep that goal and that hunger top of mind?
I don't know if it's per se with I know like the Miracle Morning and those kind of set goals, not as much, just a constant consumer of information, do a lot of, reading on markets, podcasts, any of the interviews, a lot of networking at events. So really try to stay plugged in and active constantly with the brokers and our property management company, trying to, any kind of deals we can find or leads. So I guess just staying active and really pursuing what we know our goals are is kind of my morning or daily ritual, but it's not a preset procedure or anything.
Okay, gotcha. And you started investing quite a while ago, even before you got into the syndication side. What caused you to look at syndication as an option from what you were doing before?
Yeah, I think a lot of people at some point you realize the scalability of it. If you look at what you want to have for cash flow on a monthly basis, and if you do the reverse engineer that what you need for the number of houses, it gets to be quite a large number and very management intensive. So this just seems like a much better business, not only in the scalability of it, which we like a lot, but also the idea that we can force appreciation, which you can't necessarily do in the single family homes. It just kind of goes wherever the comps in the neighborhood are. So we're a big believer in the value add strategy. So anything like 1980s up to 2005 is kind of our sweet spot, what we're looking for, and something we can somehow improve the efficiency there through decreasing the expenses if it's not being managed properly now, or water conservation or some other aspect along those lines, or fixing up units, turning the tenant mix, and just kind of overall improving the quality to top line growth.
Gotcha. And since you started on the syndication side, have there been a couple things that you thought for sure would work, but didn't turn out working out too well?
It's an amazing learning process. Always been, have done really well at studying books and reading and catching. And I've done that for years up to the point that we closed on a deal. And I've learned more since the closing than I did in the first, 2 years of studying. And you had all the basics down, but things come up you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. It's nothing, shocking. It's just as you work through it the first time. I always like Ray Dalio's book on, it's another one of those. Like, as you gain the experience, it becomes much more comfortable as you get more and more into the deal, into the weeds on the very small things on it, and it's been a great experience all along.
Yeah, and I think there must be some a correlation between flying and real estate investing, because there's quite a few pilots out there that I've spoken with. I don't know maybe it's the checklist. I don't know what it is.
That's I actually wrote an article. One of the first ones I wrote it was on that, similar between flying and commercial real estate investing. But you're right. The flying is very process driven. There's checklists, procedures. It's very our standard operating procedures, and we try to set up the syndication business the same way, because we don't want to miss anything. We want to obviously have all the boxes checked. I think between that and a lot of pilots have a fair amount of time off too, so it gives you a lot of time to get into a side business when you're starting out.
For sure. So you've recently closed on a deal in the past six months. Do you mind just sharing a little bit about that deal?
Sure, absolutely. It was in Atlanta, Georgia, or just outside of the MSA there. It's 216 units. It was a 1972 build. We found the deal. Well, it actually came through, the email inbox. My partner and I were heading down to Atlanta the next day to look at another deal through another brokerage firm. And we just, did a little bit quick underwriting on it on the way down there. Thought, well, we'll spend a little extra time. We'll swing by the property before the other tour. And as we drove by the property, we happened to recognize one of the brokers that we had worked with before was actually giving a tour to another group down there. So we just, circled through, looked at it, went to lunch, shot him a text real quick, and he said, "Yeah, sure, come back." So we toured the property with him, got to talking to him, and found out there was a opportunity to preempt the whole. It was on the market, so preempt the whole call for offers. So he gave us a number. We went back and ran the numbers. It worked for us. So we submitted the LOI with those numbers, and we were able to, like I said, short circuit the whole process and get it to close.
That's great. So you were doing your underwriting on the back of a napkin. Is that on the spot? Yeah.
We like I said, we had the package on the inbox, so we got a chance to look at it the night before. So we just did a quick little overview of it. The numbers made sense at that point, and then we found out the actual number that they would be willing to take. Then we went back and ran the numbers for the next several days, and when we figured out we ran it every way we could, and it still made sense, we moved forward with it.
Yeah. So what were a couple factors that really jumped out at you about this property? Like, what was the big blinking light?
Yeah, absolutely. Our neighboring property that we share a property line with to the east of our property, their rents were $200 higher per unit for their 1 and 2 bedroom units, and $450 higher for their 3-bedroom units. And we also have 4-bedroom units, which they don't have. But and those were renovated units, so we could see like a path forward with the potential rent. So our business plan from the beginning was to fix up our property. And even if and all our pro forma numbers can be achieved with between like 100 and 125 rent bump on our side. So we could bump our rents and still stay well under their rents. So we thought it would give us a competitive advantage. Similar properties, once we fix them up. So that was a big thing, the disparity in rents in the submarket currently. And then also on the price, we were at $58,000 a door. We knew, because the property we toured a month earlier was under contract, and it closed less than 2 miles away in the same town. It was a 3 years older property, and it was closed for $73,000 a door. So we thought we had value on both ends, not only the entry price, but also the below market rents, so we could take it to our advantage.
Yeah. And what was the occupancy like? Was it decent, or?
It was. My notes here was 96%.
Okay.
It. Yeah. It was. Now some of that, like with a lot of as people sell, the tenants they took there was some standard, but we've been in the process of turning the tenant base a fair amount. There's always, some to kind of fill those up toward the end as people are getting ready to sell them. But it's constantly improving. It's incremental little steps, and it's getting better every month with us. But yeah, it's been a good project.
Yeah. And what's your business plan? Because so you're going to push the rents. Are you looking at a refi within the first couple of years, and then longer term debt? So what's your plan with that?
Possibly, you're right. So right now we're repositioning the property with stabilizing our current base of tenants, kind of upgrading them. We're going property wide. We've done like the sidewalk repair, doing new roofs. We have implemented our green program, which basically just replaced, I think, 385 toilets with low flow, shower aerators. All that as far as that. There was a large gap also, and just for the value add part, there was a large gap on the water. When we took over, they were losing approximately $90,000 a year between what they were charging on the water system and then what they were being billed. So we have increased the rents $5 to $10 depending on unit size on the water on one end, and then we're going to decrease it with the water usage on our green program we just finished up this month. And like I said, if we got 2/3 of that back, that would be at a 6.5 cap. That was about a $920,000 increase in value. If you get 100% of that back, it's 1.3 million. So it's, that's just the value add there is kind of where we're shooting for with that part of it. Like I said, we have several projects like that we're doing, and we've, like I said, including there were some issues with bad debt when we took over. So we've kind of bringing everybody back to, when the actual pay cycle is. And
Yeah. And when do you think the bulk of your value add is going to be done? Like, do you have a 9-month, 18-month kind of horizon?
I think about 2 years is what
Okay.
we're looking at on that.
Okay.
Yeah. They'll give us a chance to turn. We're going to do at least 50% of the units as far as our upgrade packages. So as we're going in, we're turning and putting, the new wood flooring plank in, the LED lights, some backsplashes, kind of two-tone paint, upgraded hardware, just kind of overall freshening of it because it looked dated. It was it is a '70s product and it showed signs of its age. So we're kind of bringing those up to our elite units, and we'll do like half of that. So we'll have a proven business model. So the next owner can come in there and they can see the value add proven strategy and leave a little bit of meat on the bone for the next person to make it easy to sell.
For sure. Yeah. And for somebody watching right now who might be interested in syndicating, what was the money raise like for this deal? Did you have any challenges along the way?
Yes, we did have some initial when we'd had, it was kind of, there was two parts of that story, which makes it kind of entertaining.
Okay.
The first part of it is we were raising money. We had our initial, one of our key principals that we'd known for a couple of years here, local to our area, was with us involved in the deal. And we're kind of using some, and he's an experienced, like I said, they have 4,000 or 5,000 units, experienced guy, been doing it, like I said, over a decade. So we're kind of following some of his model also because, he was, like I said, the key principal. And some of it didn't work as well for our investors as far as some of the splits. Like I said, it works for his, but it just wasn't as clear, I think, to some of them. So we had a little issue with that initially. And again, through networking, though, we're able to find a great group to partner with on this deal as far as the equity raise of it. And it went amazingly smooth after we partnered with this group we've partnered with on this one. But during that same time, which, like I said, so we solved the equity raise issue, which, was obviously a large relief. And then as soon as I solved that, our key principal backed out 14 days before closing, which opened up a whole new set of issues for us. So
Yeah.
we, luckily we had, extensions built into the contract, which we had to exercise. And our money had gone hard at that point too. So we had, between my business partner and I had, I think $200,000 hard at that point. Including the extensions. So, there's a lot of stress and a few sleepless nights in there, but, we just went back and realized well, we've been in this for several years now. We know lots of people that can backfill this. We made a list and thought of the ones that would be a good fit for us and we'd work well with, enjoy working with, and reached out to some of them and one stepped up and has been a great partner. We have a better team now for it. So it was, like I said, during that time, a lot happening between the equity raise and KP backing out 2 weeks before. But it all came together. It was, and we pushed forward for, multiple reasons, not only obviously the hard money, but, your reputation with the brokers. We told them we'd close. We knew we could close. But then also we knew it was a good deal. We'd underwritten it. Five different people had underwritten. I'd underwritten it. My business partner had underwritten it. Our mortgage broker had underwritten it. Our key principal, the first one, had underwritten it. And then I'd always pay a professional full-time underwriter to check our math, make sure everything was correct. So we knew the returns were there. We knew the value was there. So it was a good deal. We were going to find a way to make it happen, and we did.
Yeah. Have you made any changes in how you operate because of those experiences? Like, have you changed anything?
Yes and no. I mean, the one, I think, with almost a black swan event, it just seems so out of the ordinary. I don't know any way to change the KP backing out part, because we'd known him for a long time. It wasn't somebody we just met like on LinkedIn or one time at a conference or like that. We didn't really have much of a relationship. We'd seen him, every month at meetings, and for a couple of years. So that was a surprise to us. And I'm not sure how we could have changed that necessarily. On the money raise side, we have much better procedures in place now. We, have quite an active pool of people that will raise capital, and also our investor list now has grown quite a bit. And also the group we're working with on that is definitely a go-to team for us. So like I said earlier, I think we have all the right people in the right seats now with going forward. It's a much stronger team than we started, but that, we learned a lot in the process. So we're happy for it.
Yeah, and one of the recurring themes is that comes up with syndication is always the team. The team almost trumps the deal all the time. Once you have the right people in place, everything kind of else comes together. How have you, or can you give any tips on how to build your team, find those key team members?
Absolutely. I mean, that I think it's absolutely critical. What you just said was, you can have a great deal, and if you have poor operating partners, it's not going to be very good. You can have a decent deal and have an excellent team, and you're going to operate at a much higher level. I mean, if I was on the LP side investing, I would want, the second half of that, I'd want a great operating team in an average deal, because they're going to be able to still perform in any kind of market, versus the opposite. You may just get lucky on one, but the team is critical. It's definitely a team sport. No one does this at a high level by themselves. There's just too much to do. You should have a good understanding of all the moving parts, but everybody's going to have one specialty. If it's the underwriting, it's the money raise, if it's the operation of it, investor relationships, whatever you need to manage, brokers, all that. The advice I guess I would have for that is always be networking. I go to a lot of events. We network with a lot of people. I met my business partner a couple of years ago here at a local meetup. And since then, we've started our own, the National, like you mentioned, National Multifamily Investor Club. We do that to specialize just in the multifamily side of it. There was a need here in Nashville, didn't have a meetup like that. So we created one and help, educate, and also for, people who want to invest on the passive side. But it's, like you said, it's to find the right team members. I think you just have to spend time around them and look for people that are performing at a high level. Like I said, the last guy we had on the money raise, his team is, firing on all cylinders. We did 2 webinars for the raise. It was a relatively small raise, about just under $3 million, but we did one on, I believe, Monday night, one on Wednesday night. And by the time the second one had finished, we'd had commitments over $8 million, soft commitments. So it was, like I said, we try to partner with people performing at a high level. It just makes everything smoother. Everybody knows their lane, and we can get the job done. And then we're anxious to get started with our operation side of it.
For sure. So switching gears now towards how syndication has really profited, you've been able to profit from syndicating. How has it really changed your financial situation getting into the syndication side?
Right. Well, I mean, and obviously with any deals, I'm always a fan of large numbers. So anything that's in the 8 digits, anything to, the left of the decimal point is going to be an interesting number on a percentage basis. So it has, and we've been pouring basically a lot of our, just in the asset management fees. We pour it back into the business because we're growing the business. We're hiring more people. We're doing more things as we get as the word out, and as we kind of expand our team. But yeah, long term, it's a great model. I mean, there's, you have the acquisition, you have the operation, but then the main thing is we always have money invested in our deals alongside our limited partners, um, which I think is important. You have skin in the game. So all that is we can, drive the whole investment group forward. It's the real payday, of course, is on the back end when we sell, is when we're going to realize most of the value add proposition to it. But
Yeah,
the other ones are kind of just enough to keep, the staff and the underwriting, and you always have pursuit costs as you look for the next deal involved also. But
for
it's a great plan, and we're excited about the opportunities that are available.
Oh, absolutely. And when you transition from flying, to syndicating full time, will you be at a point once you do that, once you hit your unit count, that your lifestyle will remain the same or improve?
Absolutely, and that's it's always a challenge because the flying job is a good job. So there's no the hunger about I've got to a better life. You have a good life with that, but I mean I love the real estate part. I love how creative you can be with it, and it pays you to be a good problem solver. You can find something that needs to be fixed, you fix it, and you're rewarded for it, and you can just create value. Which is a great plan. You can help a lot of people along the way also, which is something that's I think important. So when I make the transition, it'll be at least a ladder. I'll be even when I transition, and then on the upward slope. So the trajectory is up and to the right. So we're I think the timing will be perfect on that when we transition out. We'll make sure it's a good fit.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to have you back on once you're a full-time syndicator.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Bill, where can people find you if they want some more information?
Absolutely. My website is parkcapitalproperties.com, or you can email me directly at bill@parkcapitalproperties.com. And
Perfect. That's great.
if you're in the Asheville area, stop by our meetup. We hold it monthly.
Yeah. Well, I'll put a link down to your website below the video so everybody can check it out. So, Bill, just want to say thank you very much for sharing your success with us today.
Absolutely, Seth. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And to you, our viewers, I wish you well in your journey from purchase to profits. See you next time.